He's just lying there. He's like, oh, yes, it seems my head is purple fire now. And Primal runs away, and he's like,
I suppose this is what it feels like when doves cry. Yes. Do.
Too much Energon.
Too much Energon, like this podcast.
The beasts are here, McLeod, for the gathering.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings, Megatron.
Then they'd better stay out of my way. Blah, 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 blah. Beast Wars once and for all.
Big time Garry himself.
man, these things look like toys.
Maximals! Maximals! Does that mean transform?
Cheetor, what have you done?
I am transformed.
Sigma balls, Garry. No, no, that.
Greetings, Maximals, Predacons, Terracons, and whatever else you may identify as. Welcome to episode 120 of Too Much Energon, the podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars, coming to you live from a mysterious floating mountain somewhere hidden on planet Energon. I am, as always, the Siege, one of your hosts.
And my moniker is NeoCalBot.
Yes.
And I'll be your other host bot.
Right.
Yes.
How's it going this week, Cal?
Got weird construction headaches. Yeah.
I hear Goldberg himself is like spearing and delivering jackhammers to motherfuckers outside of your office
right
window there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have empathy pains from it.
Yeah, and there's an entire crowd of people gathered in the parking lot at the pub right across the street from your place, chanting Goldberg, Goldberg.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. All hours of the night.
Right.
I noticed that you have a change in appearance.
I do indeed. I shaved my head. No more.
You've become a trans metal tool.
Yeah, I was hit by the old quantum surge and got a shaved head. I've been on a meatless and dairy-free plant-based diet for the past couple of weeks, and I'm actually starting to lose a bit of weight from it, which was part of the goal. So that's good.
So that's why your hat's fit again.
That is why my hat's fit again. As part of my motivation for shaving my head was because we're getting to summer, and I don't think I've ever really talked about this much on the show, but I actually really like New Era, like 5950 fitted baseball caps.
How dare you?
I'm a big fan of them. And the ones that I have, I got when I was several years ago now, when I was slimmer and had short hair. So they were sized to my head when I was slimmer and had short hair. So with my old bullshit haircut, they didn't really fit on my head anymore.
That'll teach you for having a bullshit haircut.
Right? So I got rid of the bullshit haircut, and I've been slimming down a little bit. And so they actually fit again. They're a little on the tight side, but they are wearable without being uncomfortable.
See, I didn't actually know that people's heads could get bigger or smaller if they gained or lost weight. The hair makes sense, though.
It's slight, but it is noticeable, especially when you're wearing something that is fitted to your head.
Interesting.
Yeah, another thing that's been going on with me is, we got a new Maximal in the family here, over at Lasercomb HQ.
Who is this?
This is Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Cheetor. And so we must ask, Cheetor, what have you done?
You got it just because it's Cheetor, admit it.
Yeah, I did. I got
Not
it
because you
Cheetor.
necessarily like the movie.
Well, the movie isn't even out yet.
Oh.
But
so it doesn't matter if the movie's good or bad. You need your Cheetor collection.
I got it to add to the Cheetor collection. The rest of the movie figures, I might buy the Leader Class Studio Series Ronnie Primal that's apparently coming out.
I don't like how they look, but I'm not a collector.
This Cheetor figure is pretty solid.
It's not bad.
I didn't like it at first glance, but actually having it in hand, it's a really good figure. It's very well built too. Like the build quality is quite good. But in terms of the rest of the figures, I'm gonna wait until I actually watch the movie and decide whether I like it or not before I start collecting more of the movie beasts. Which that movie comes out June 8th, and I have plans with a friend and former coworker of mine to go see the movie on opening night. Now, what do I need to do to convince you, good sir, to go see the movie that same weekend in Victoria so we can do a special episode of Too Much Energon reviewing it?
So we're actually reviewing it, huh?
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, I want to do a Rise of the Beasts special episode of TME.
Probably wouldn't be that packed. Or would it?
Go to an early showing. This is what I do when I go to see movies. I go to like the noon showing.
Oh, excuse me.
And even for like big movies, usually the early showing is like will only have like maybe a half dozen people.
And what day does it come out on?
Comes out on June 8th, which is a Friday.
Might be able to go to an early Friday one.
All right. Well, closer to the time of, we'll coordinate.
Yeah.
I will. I may even buy your ticket for you. As dip into the Patreon fund and buy your movie ticket.
Dip into the deep jar of the Patreon fund.
Yeah.
We were saving up for a house. Damn it.
The bottomless money pit that is the Lasercomb Patreon.
That's right. I'm
just like Scrooge McDuck over here, like diving into like a giant pot of like Patreon money.
That you're just hoarding, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's well, like I said, we'll talk about that more closer to when the time comes. This week on Too Much Energon, we are going to be talking about episode 12 of the 2021 IDW Beast Wars comic book. Now, if you're just joining us, for the past several episodes of Too Much Energon, we have been using old recordings that we did for a spin-off of this show called Too Much Galavar that was dedicated entirely to the 2021 IDW Beast Wars comic. But since we've been covering comics on the show as of late anyway, I figured I pulled that podcast from its like main feed and have just been repurposing those recordings as episodes of Too Much Energon, because to me that just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Make this the
catch
most
it up, take it off of Patreon, and then fill in our timeline.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense from a comic timeline.
Yeah, make this because I mentioned this before, but like I legit want this to be the most comprehensive Beast Wars podcast you can find anywhere. So like we got the main show, we got Beast Machines, we got the War for Cybertron trilogy, we got the Japanese Beast Wars, we got like all the main comics. Like I want this to be like the Beast Wars podcast, which I feel
that's
like
why when I was like calculating in my head, and I was like, here's the thing, I was like, none of the Transformers movies are good post 2000s, but then I'm like, but that doesn't matter because we're the authority on Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That's why we got to talk about Rise of the Beasts.
That's why we have to talk about Rise of the Beasts.
Yep. Anyway, without further ado, here is that recycled recording from I think it was like April or May of 2022 that we recorded it. Anyway, of us talking about issue 12 of the 2021 IDW's Beast Wars comic. Here it is.
Too much energy.
So the issue picks up shortly after where the last issue left off.
A big old fight.
A big old brawl. A royal rumble, if you will.
A big old royal rumble.
Between a big old gorilla and a big old T-Rexosaurus.
A big old crocodile.
A big old T-Rexosaurus Rex. T-Rexosaurus
no,
Rex.
no, no Alligatron in this issue.
No Alligatron in this issue, but
we got
maybe...
lots of dinosaur punches.
Yeah, we got lots of dinosaur punches.
I want to give kudos to the artist.
Okay.
You don't like the style, but I think the paneling and some of the visual storytelling for this one in particular is pretty good. It opens with Megatron smoking Primal in the face, and his that little face shield, that combat shield, gets broken.
Yeah.
And I was like, And so that and the dialogue is some of the strongest I've seen so far. But I might leave my praise there.
Okay.
Because there's some other problems to it. But there's definitely things that are said in this that give me, like, I hear it in the characters' voices. Like on the first page, Megatron he's kicking the shit, seemingly, out of Primal. And he says, praying to the others before deliverance, Optimus Primal, it will not be forthcoming. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good line.
He says praying to the ones before for deliverance.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing now. You're right. Not praying to the others, praying to the ones before. Oh, that's better.
Yeah, it's not a bad line. Yeah. Praying to your ancestors for deliverance, Garry.
Garry, it will not be forthcoming. And then later in a different panel, when it cuts back, he's like, don't worry, you'll be seeing them soon. And I'm like, oh shit, Megatron is bringing the shit talk.
Yeah.
this one. It jumps around a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? I'm okay with it.
We cut to inside the dark side, and Nyx is there being
shit
confronted.
Tarantula Man.
Yeah, being confronted by Tarantula Man. Quick sidebar at the time of recording. Today, they just revealed a Transformers Legacy Tarantulas figure.
That's right. So, it looks pretty sick.
It looks great. I'm really excited.
He's always had really good contrasting colors. So seeing a Tarantulas from like Beast 1996 Beast Wars version of Tarantulas with the bright colors and the strong silhouette is fun.
Yeah, totally. He in the War for Cybertron Kingdom line, Tarantulas and Inferno are the only season 1 characters that we didn't get toys of. So, but they're coming.
I was gonna be like, I don't remember what that looked like. Well, that explains it.
The two of them, as well as a Enter the Dragon Megatron, are coming in Transformers Legacy. So I'm pretty stoked. Anyway, Nyx is shit talking with Tarantulas, and she last issue we had mentioned she was like, "Oh, I wonder what'll happen if I just blow up a transwarp core. Maybe I'll go back in time."
Yeah, and indeed, she's in the core messing around with Tarantulas, and she's like, "Oh, are you not shooting at me because you're afraid of what kind of reaction will happen?"
Right.
Haha, joke's on you. And she shoots it, but it doesn't show us what happens to it. The paneling confused me in this issue. I'm like, did it explode? What happened? It just shows Tarantulas go, no! And then they bicker again and then fight.
But it is confirmed later on in the issue, though, that the Transwarp Drive has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And Nyx even says, well, I guess it didn't send me back to the beginning of time.
I guess it didn't explode and kill us all. That's cool.
Well, you'd think it would have exploded. She said something specifically about it not sending her back through time.
Yeah, she shoots it. He says no. Tarantula says no. And she's like, how about that? We didn't get thrown into the end of time after all.
Oh, the end of time, right.
And Tarantulas is like, you fool, you destroyed it. And there's like some white light off the panel. And I'm like, yeah, that would be
way bigger than
extra.
That.
That's extra work to, well, would it? We've seen it explode and it's kind of blown up entire moons and Primal.
Right?
So I don't like to call myself a Beast Wars aficionado, but they kind of make a big boom.
Exactly why you do. exactly why you do 2 podcasts about Beast Wars related things.
We've seen Transwarp drives explode, and they don't like make a kind of bright white light and then just fizzle out. So
Nope, they destroy entire fake alien moons.
and your friendly neighborhood Garry Primal.
Yeah.
But
So I feel like this would have been a much bigger bang here. So this is already my first problem with the issue of the comic.
I'm fine with writers going in a different direction. But I'm not getting a lot of I was a fan of the 1990s like Beast Wars vibes from some of these issues.
Well, no, but it's not even about that though, but like to me the case of like shooting a like transwarp core,
It's a big deal.
it's a big deal. Like if you blow up a nuclear reactor, and in a way like a warp core is like kind of a reactor of sorts, like that's going to be one massive like bang. Like that's going to be one hell of a bang.
Every
So
single time in Beast Wars history, it's been very bad news bears.
yeah. And I mean just like even to me it this reaction to the transwarp core being shot defies like even real world logic to me.
Yeah, and I understand that it needs to go under like nuclear like fission or whatever hydrogen bombs do for them to detonate. You can't just shoot it or whatever, but part of me would not shoot it because I don't know exactly how they operate and because they are something that is known to explode very bigly.
Very, very
So
bigly.
for them to just kind of be all like, huh, would you look at that? I would have been okay if there was an explosion, but it was localized to just the engine room and they were injured, but not destroyed. But there's just, no, they're like 20 feet away from it. And Nyx is like, huh, oh, would you look at that? And I'm like, that's kind of lame. Also, Primal sent you to go do this and you didn't know what would happen? What if it blew everyone up? Everyone that's out, except everybody that's outside the ship, or maybe even them.
I could forgive
Why
it
would
if
Primal
they
give
like
that order?
if they escaped from the engine room. And I talked about this last issue too. Like on that note, why would Primal give that order? It's like,
Yeah. You did, yeah.
Why would we destroy the transwarp capable ship? And like, why would we disable its transwarp core?
Take
and then
that, Megatron. Now you can't leave.
And then we just go back to our ship and just, which doesn't have a transwarp core, a transwarp drive, and just wait for however long until Cybertron comes and picks us up 4 million years in the past. Seems legit.
Seems legit.
I complained about that last issue. It's like,
yeah. What
just
was our new idea? Oh, take the ship.
Yeah, take the ship.
And here's the thing: they beat the shit out of all of the Predacons. They can take the ship. They have all the chips at some point in this issue, and then they go, "Whoopsies! If you let us go, we'll give you back the disc." And I'm like,
"Oh, we'll get to that."
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so, Nyx like shoots a taser at Tarantulas, who for some godly, unknown, possibly perplexing reason, transforms into beast mode to attack Nyx.
Friend of the show, Eric Burnham. He perplexed being is his favorite word that we used.
Well, because it's become a meme that I say this is some perplexing shit like very often.
Yeah.
But when I do that, it doesn't mean that I don't understand. It means that it's dumb. I'm being nice.
For those who don't know, on the The first episode of this show on the YouTube video, the writer of the comic actually left a comment saying, I think he said literally, "Sorry, you were so perplexed."
Yeah. Sorry, you were so perplexed by blah, 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 but there are greater machinations at work than your simple consumer mind can possibly hope. No, he wasn't rude about it.
No.
But basically, like, hey, man, I'm following orders. He in a nice way, he said he has to follow a certain structure. Right. So we never shit on just the individual writers and artists and blah, blah, blah. We understand there are many moving parts.
To an extent. I can criticize.
I was trying to be diplomatic about it.
I can criticize dialogue, and I can criticize creative choices made.
Like transforming into beast mode when you should have they do that a lot on this. It's like, why would you transform to the mode where you don't have a gun? But
well, in the show, they addressed that because the planet has too much Energon and they start shorting out. So to continue the fight, they got to go into beast mode.
Yeah, and that's fun.
But they don't really talk about that in this show. In this comic.
Don't even really know if it's happened beyond the initial explanation.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, so what happens here? Nyx has a taser, and she's like, I got this idea from you. Geez, I should really kill you, but I think leaving you humiliated and like defeated like this to answer to Megatron will be better. Bye.
Peace.
And I'm like, are we supposed to like Nyx? Are they like the cheeky like millennial insert? I'm not relating to the new blood a lot in these comics.
I think she's supposed to be a Gen Z insert.
Okay, that explains why I'm not.
That explains why I don't understand.
Well, if she makes fun of Cheetor for liking avocado toast, that will cement that. And I'm like, you know what, Nyx? You could just kill him. I mean, he tortured you. How about you do kill him?
Yeah.
It's that whole Batman Joker like conundrum.
Well,
like every time the Joker escapes and kills a couple dozen people, Batman brings him back in. Is Batman responsible for?
It's just, it's not the maximal way.
I know.
Anyway, so Rat Trap is still in Megatron's bedroom, basically, which is where he was last issue, and he grabbed the golden disc.
It was a trap, you stinking rat.
Yeah, so he's locked in there, and he's like radioing Nyx to like try and help him get out. And
when he grabbed the golden disc, the throne room went into lockdown.
Yeah. So he's trying to get help from her, and she's on her way, and he's like, man, I wish Rhinox was coming to save me.
I'm like, why doesn't he? It's not quite. It's weird. It's like, oh man, I wish Rhinox was here. I'm like, he's just as close as Primal. He's like right there. He can go.
But they're outside the ship though. Nyx is inside the ship. So it does kind of make sense
except that when Primal shows up later to rip the door open, and he's outside anyway.
Yeah, fair.
I have concerns.
Some fighting is like continues going
Cheetor's
on
flirting with Black Arachnia.
And fighting with Black Arachnia, and they're exchanging. Cheetor is saying some not typical Cheetor bullshit to her, but it's still not very interesting.
He's like, wow, a stun beam. Like, we should have had those on the ship. And Black Arachnia is like, well, maybe you should have stole them. And he's like, good idea. And he does that thing in movies and media you see where when people are tussling, someone grabs the gun of the bad guy and like shoots the other bad guys. Cheetor like grabs the claw of Black Arachnia and zaps Scorponok with it.
And then they do that like movie guy and girl fighting thing where they like fall down and she ends up like on her back and Cheetor is
And
on
then
top of her and they roll around and then it looks like they're gonna kiss and
but
then she
instead
like
like someone else shoots one of them off, or they have to.
yeah no
You're
that doesn't actually happen.
Unfortunately,
But I'm
that
surprised.
doesn't happen. I would have liked it too.
I'm surprised that doesn't happen here.
I would have liked it too. But yeah, Scorponok gets shot, and Rhinox is like, couldn't you have aimed for the one that hits harder? As in Skold, who apparently is fighting Rhinox now.
Yeah, apparently. And he's like, well, listen here now, turtle lady. We really don't have to fight. That Razor Beast fellow, like I didn't know him very long, but he said you were one tough gal, so you're all right in my books.
And then I'm trying to like Skold. I'm trying to like the Gen Z characters. Skold gets angry and keeps punching Rhinox and is like, you filthy Max. You filthy Maximals brought him here. You're the reason Razor Beast is dead.
Don't ever say his name again.
He was my best friend. And I'm like, you knew him even less than the Maximals did. He's lived with the Maximals the past week or two.
It hasn't even been that long.
Has a couple days.
A couple days.
You spent an entire Sunday afternoon with him. And you're punching Rhinox and say, don't you dare say his name. Dude, what if he was closer to Rhinox than he was with you? I'm sorry. Bad writing, folks. Like, it's making conflict when there doesn't need to be any. And they simmer down and they get to show off Rhinox's Buddhist side, which I do like. But man, you're not helping me like Skold.
I'll have you know, you big tough gal there, that me and Razor Beast, we used to go out every Saturday night for drinks over an Icon. Hell, sometimes when we were working out in the factory, you know, we'd go and slam down 6 to 12 on our lunch breaks each and every day. So me and him, we go way back. I'll say his name all I want.
Also, you Maximals brought him here. You're the reason he's dead. No.
No.
Pterosaur
is the reason he's dead.
Pterosaur is the reason. Well, that's and then let's say I was driving somewhere, right? And you were in the car with me and you got in an accident because a drunk driver hit us. It's not my fault.
No.
We got hit. That's what she's doing here. She's blaming the Maximals because the Predacons are assholes instead of switching sides because the Predacons are assholes. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay.
So why is she like, she got so angry that she fucking Temple of Doomed.
She Kalimar.
Yeah, she Temple of Doomed Pterosaur Spark last issue because badass move for killing Razor Beast, but now she's blaming the Maximals for Razor Beast's death too. Like, what is wrong with you, lady? I think she's just kind of an idiot.
I wanted to be an artist.
I wasn't good at anything else.
My parents told me that I was artistic, but nobody else believed me.
I can draw real good and also hit things.
I wanted Skold to be cool, to be like, take that, Siege. Take that. And now I've jumped on board with making fun of Skold with you. Oh, so what happens here?
Waspinator Waspinator shows up.
Yeah, Waspinator's like, oh, I'll help too. And Dinobot says a bunch of Dinobot just bullshit and fire lasers them.
Yeah.
But just one hit, just roasts Waspinator right out of the air. And he's like, I guess I can't beat Megatron in my current state, but you'll make excellent practice. And I'm like, well, Waspinator gets points for trying. Damn it.
Nyx radios Garry that she can't get past the door to the throne room or whatever that Rat Trap is being held in. So Garry is like, "Oh, I'll be there as soon as I can, but I'm kind of busy right now."
Okay, well, one sec. Like, I
One
like
thing
how
at a
formal
time.
he is during these conversations. Like he's being
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, well, I'll get there when I get there. But and oh, by the way, they're in beast mode now. Both
He's
Primal
got like
and
a little
Megatron.
antenna like sticking out of his
That's
ear.
cute.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of like it.
And T-Rex, giant, like freaking Jay Leno chinned Megatron leans down in his dinosaur form and he's like, muttering again, Maximal? Have I done that much damage to your processors? Perhaps it's time to put you out of your... And that's the show art. Primal's like, well, that's just Prime, except he doesn't say that. And he uppercuts. Game on. And Megatron seems shocked. He's like, I had you beaten. I was toying with you. You shouldn't have had the strength. And that's when Primal's like, yeah, come on, put him up, put him up. There's an old alien race warrior who...
I'm getting my second win, see?
Adrian! It's called a little rope-a-dope. Gives him the old 1-2.
Get in there, Rocco.
Get in there, Primal. Give him everything you got.
I don't believe Megatron would be this stupid, to be quite frank. Like,
why is he dumb?
He's like quite literally like, "Oh, you were beaten. How?
I was toying with you.
Megatron's never that stupid.
He gets cocky, but he's never dumb.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, well, I don't know whatever boxer you're talking about, but you can ask him in the next life. And Primal's like, not right now, I won't. And he pulls out his swords. He jumps across the gap between them, and he slams his sword into Megatron's T-Rex head, just right through his head, seemingly killing him because his head was about to shoot lasers.
Yeah.
And it like clamps closed and the lasers combust in his head.
Which
and the next panel,
which he apparently can do in beast mode.
Which is cool because I can't think of anyone else that can do that.
Well, they couldn't do that in the show, let me tell you. They couldn't use weapons in beast mode.
Yeah, can you imagine if Dinobot could shoot his lasers?
Just eye lasers from his like Velociraptor.
Hell yeah.
Head.
But yeah,
their eyes kind of point outward though, so wouldn't he just be like shooting like at like a 90-degree angle
sideways? It's really hard to aim.
He just like starts like spinning around.
Death Blossom. Now I have an image of him like on his back, kind of like, what's it called? Like breakdancing, just spinning lasers everywhere. Anyways, the next panel, Megatron's head is on like, it has been replaced with a purple fireball, which I think is hilarious. And then the next panel, I like this exchange. Much to the, I think this is the first time in the comic series where Megatron's gotten his ass decisively handed to him.
Yeah.
And Black Arachnia looks like shocked, and she stops fighting with Cheetor. And he's like, he beat Megatron? And right. Cheetor's like, guess the captain's got the fight of a big bot in him after all.
He's got the fight of a big bot, wink, in him after all.
Remember, kids? Remember the 90s?
Remember that Cheetor always called Garry Big Bot?
Remember when Cheetor called him Big Bot? Oh, I remember.
I actually think it's kind of cute.
I do too.
Hey, I'm like, nicknames always come from somewhere. So,
and Black Arachne, I like the Black Arachne in the comics, I must say, because she seems aware of her reprogramming, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to rethink my allegiances, and then she pieces out after kicking Cheetor in the face.
I have liked every iteration of Black Arachne that I've seen so far.
Oh, good point. So have I.
in Beast Wars, in this comic, in War for Cybertron Kingdom. I think Black Arachne was actually one of the best parts of that cartoon. Also had
I've never been pissed off. Yeah.
also
Yeah.
had one of the best voice actors in that show as well. But we'll talk about that eventually, maybe on our main Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon. So go check that out.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's the end of that little skirmish. Cheetor's like, no, Spider Babe, come back and stand on me.
Skold is like, meanwhile, Skold is like beating the shit out of Rhinox, and she's
Rhinox
like,
is just
fight
taking
back.
it.
Yeah, he's just taking it, and she's like, fight back. And he's like, no, ma'am, no sirree, Bob.
That's not how my daddy taught me.
My daddy taught me no matter how many beers you down, you never hit a woman. So,
and also, I can see that you're upset, and nothing like a woman getting upset. Am I right, fellas? Fellas? Anybody? I guess it's just me out here. And she gets bored and she's like, fine. I won't get any satisfaction of killing you anyway if you won't fight back. Better leave before I change my mind. And Rhinox just sits there, and then Skold awkwardly walks away herself. I'm like, so cool story, bro.
Okay, so I get that at times, in the cartoon anyway, and this is its own thing, but I feel like this is taking inspiration from the episodes of the cartoon where Rhinox is like, I just want to smell some flowers. Yeah. But taking it to the 11th degree.
Right.
But Rhinox still would still fight back. Just
he
because
still defend himself.
Him just sitting there on his knees, taking an absolute beating, being
letting Skold's hit
no,
him.
You're upset, and if you beating the shit out of me helps you work through your feelings, then
that's a small price to pay.
By all means, keep punching away. I'm like, that is fucking stupid. No, restrict, maybe grab her, stop, block her punch. You don't even need to fight back necessarily.
Don't make me give you a noogie, little lady.
But at least block her punches or try to restrain her and be listen to me, you're upset, you're going through some shit, and I can help, we're here to help you. But no, just being go ahead, give it your best shot, lady.
Is that all you got?
I can take it.
Meanwhile, teeth are flying out and his eyes busted. But that's that. And we cut back to the inside, and I guess Primal ran all the way into the dark side. And the way he helps, he just monkey paws the door open with his super strength.
Well, I mean,
not hacks the code, not they both open it, not he pulls out his shotgun to help blast a hole so they can get
it makes sense. And look at how small Nyx is. She wouldn't have been able to do something like that.
In this, yeah, they're twice as big or whatever, right? But it's just they're technologically advanced creatures. It'd be cool if sometimes there were cool technological, for instance, wouldn't it be cool if Rat Trap had a sneaky going through the vents adventure to escape? I don't know.
Or he had some doohickey in his forearm that would be able to just hack the door, auto hack the door's lock or something like that.
Yeah, or he could be I wanted to save this for something else, but Nyx, get away from the door, and he puts one of those explosives on it and busts out. That's not even my worst complaint here. They open the door and they try to run out, and there's just a force field in a hallway.
Yeah, and Garry runs head first right into it.
Yeah,
a force field.
There. Force field. Yeah. And Megatron's just there, even though his head was just on purple fire.
We do actually see in this in the upcoming panels that the skin is scorched off of his T-Rex head.
Liked that.
That's a cool detail. And so he's actually holding it behind his back most of the time.
Mm-hmm. It's he's very badly damaged. It looks like there's a hole.
I'm gonna blah blah this scene.
Blah blah blah. It looks like I have you. Time for you to suck my dick, Primal. And Primal's like, blah blah blah. You're gonna let us go, otherwise I'll destroy this disc.
And you may be thinking that you can just travel through time again and steal the disc again, but we destroyed your transwarp drive, so I'm holding all the cards. You're gonna let us go.
And also, you can't take the Axelon because it'll self-destruct if you don't know the password.
Right.
Bazinga.
Bazinga, and, Jesus Christ.
And Tarantulas is there and fine, I guess. And he's like, don't give in to their demands. This ship has no self-destruct. And they're like, doesn't it? Wink at the camera.
And Megatron's like, ooh,
he says, Gia. He screams and he's like, fine, get out of here. And it cuts ahead, and I guess he just peacefully let them go. And I'm like, couldn't they have shot a hole through the metallic wall? Turned around and gone another way?
Couldn't Megatron had just, and he mentions that, oh, after I have a nice long relaxing bath in the hot tub heal machine, I will be back here to destroy you. Cheers. Right. But I'm like, can't you just be like, why yes, Gary, give me the golden disc and you're free to go. And then take the disc and be like, haha,
I lied.
Suckers. I lied, you stupid shits. Force field back up. Sucks to be you, toodaloo. Like,
and I'm like, ah, yes, Megatron, a man of his word. I'm many things, but a sneaky snake is not one of them. So he just peacefully lets them go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that is. I don't buy that as a thing that Megatron would do. Megatron would be like, or how about I send Scorponok and Waspinator to your ship to destroy it, since it is totally unmanned and defenseless.
What then, Primal? Yeah, he would have upped the stakes and countered him until maybe they both come to an agreement. That's more believable, but never at any one time do the Maximals have all the cards.
Also, I don't believe that Gary would actually destroy the golden disc. Because you imagine, like when and if they get back to Cybertron.
Bluffing.
Well, you can say he's bluffing, yeah, but like you would think Megatron would know that. Because imagine like going back to Cybertron and going back to the Maximal Elders, and they're like, so let me get this straight. Just to save your own ass, you destroyed one of the planet's most priceless and sacred artifacts. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What's worse? Let me get this right. To save your own ass, you handed the disc back over to Megatron?
Either way, like it's just either way, this whole scene is fucking stupid, and like there's a lot of shit that goes on in this comic that just like is completely like defies logic, and everything about this scene is
perplexing
shit.
If I had a 2-word summary of the comic so far,
perplexing shit.
Maybe. No, I could think of 2 better words.
Well, I have 2 magic words to say about this issue coming up soon, so we'll get there shortly.
So what happens? They're all talking. They're like, "Wow, I can't believe Megatron let us go. What a dumbass!" And Rat Trap's like, "Well, here's the thing. I'm a paranoid kind of guy, Wings." Because I guess Wings is a cool nickname. And they do have nicknames, but like, isn't Batty more of a cute, like, whatever.
Wings is fine. Rat Trap gives characters nicknames like that in the show all the time. Like sometimes he would call Cheetor Spots, and
I feel like those are catchier than Wings. Batty. I like Batty. Anyways. Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
And he's like, I made an internal copy of the disc just to be on the safe side. And I'm like,
So yeah, so
shouldn't that have been the plan anyway?
Okay, so if you could just do that, why wouldn't you just do that and then put the disc back, so maybe the defenses would shut down, and then you could just leave Megatron's room, right?
Yeah.
If you could just like burn a copy of it, like get out the old CD burner and like burn it onto a CDR, just put the golden disc back, and then maybe like all the defenses would shut down, and then be like, "Yeah, see you later."
Yeah, the old the
old Indiana
Jones
thing
technique, right?
Technique of like replacing the chalice with like a bag of sand or something
and
like that.
Even if it fails, at least you tried.
yeah.
And then the Maximals are like, ha, 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 we sure showed them. We won everything. We lost to nothing. And it's like, you lost a Maximal, but I guess you gained a copy of the golden disc. But do you care what's on it? Was it your job to? I mean, yeah, you disabled the dark side, the Transwarp Drive, so that's a +2. But it's like all of this outro stuff. Nobody's being like, hey, should we say some words for Razor Beast?
Yeah, that guy just showed up like 2 hours ago.
Fuck that guy. They don't even mention him.
Yeah, and Rat Trap is like, so when were you, you big stupid ape, gonna tell me about the auto destruct sequence that you had installed? And Gary's like, I was bluffing, basically.
He's like, one. I thought you knew that I was bullshitting. You went in on it with me and bullshitted him too.
Yeah, you should know that. As like,
and Rat Trap's like, but what? Remind me never to play poker against you again, or something like that.
And then we get like a stupid like outro scene with Megatron and Tarantulas.
Because Tarantulas is his right-hand man for some reason in this.
Apparently, and Megatron is like, I'm very angry. I'm very angry, and I don't care about the domination of ruling Cybertron. I don't care about the contents of the golden disc anymore. No, I just really don't like that Garry Primal guy that I just met like a week ago. Now my mission in life is nothing else but to have his head on a spike. And I'm like,
that bothered. Really? That kind of, is that supposed to be cool? Is the reader supposed to go, oh no, you know what's scarier than somebody who wants to dominate an entire planet? A dude with a personal vendetta.
Against a enemy that he met like a fucking week ago. He's willing to just throw all of his plans out the window.
Yes, Tarantulas, I've decided to lower my ambitions. And instead of, destroying the Maximal scum and securing my rightful place at the throne of Cybertron,
and winning the Beast Wars once and for all.
Winning the Beast Wars once and for all. I just want to beat this monkey up. Yes. And I'm like, cool story, I guess. Because if your goal is to make me like Beast Wars less, you're boy, oh boy, you're doing a good job.
Real quick, the final scene. There's an epilogue. The final scene of this issue of the comic book is our pal Tarantula Man experimenting on the lifeless corpse of
Pterosaur. He's like, Pterosaur, you dumb shit. I always knew you'd be the first to fall.
There can be life beyond. There can be life beyond death.
And he literally goes, alas, poor Pterosaur. I knew ye. I always knew. Yeah.
And and that's the end of the issue. So he's gonna do some
Frankensteining.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein. Hey, if I know it's already out, right? But if you want to, whirl Starscream soul from across space and time and wing it into Pterosaur's body,
I'd be 100% on board with that.
And have him take over,
Right.
that would be kind of great.
All right. So speaking of kind of,
that's not going to happen.
Speaking of kind of great, that was issue 12 of IDW's 2021 Beast Wars comic book. Here on Too Much Galavar, we follow the same rating system that we do on our main Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon, which ranges from not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon to too much Energon. It's basically bad, okay, good. Cal, what are you giving this issue of issue 12 of Beast Wars?
It's getting too much Energon from me.
I knew it.
No, man. It's not. It is such a not enough Energon that it has almost unlocked my secret fourth tier, which is not a top tier. It's a secret bottom tier. If you're interested in what the hell we're talking about, though, that's a little joke between Siege and I when we were wrapping up Beast Wars. Or is it?
I am giving this issue of the comic book no Energon.
Are we doing it?
I'm doing it. This issue was just top to bottom bad. Like, holy fucking Christ. The way the characters behave in this issue is just like completely baffling. The way the whole conflict is resolved is absolutely fucking stupid. The way at the end Megatron is like, I'm just gonna throw out all of my ambition because I don't like this guy that I met a week ago.
When you could just be like, why not both?
Why not both?
I mean, like, one is standing in the way of the other. So like you don't have to like hang up your hat after you've taken out Primal and been like, oh yes, time to farm the land and retire. I was joking around, or was I, when I was explaining the no Energon before, but this issue did it. No Energon from me too.
It took 12 issues, folks, but the fabled hidden bottom of the barrel rating from our main Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon, has finally reared its ugly head.
Reserved usually only for the VOC.
Well, boy, oh boy, if you wanna, can't wait to talk more about the VOC, just tune in next issue.
I forgot they were in this.
Oh yeah, and they feature
I
pretty prominently.
It showed them. What was that, the second issue, or
they've popped up a few times in this comic, but it's been a while. Yeah, they pop up next issue, issue 13 of Beast Wars.
I'm sure that'll be great. I'm sure they'll turn things around and they'll make me like the VOC.
Well,
yeah,
we'll find out.
Too much Energon.
And that was that. Best way to support the show is to go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, spelled LAZORCOMB. We're at the single $5 Garry tier. You get a bonus exclusive Patreon podcast called the Super Lasercomb Patreon Super Show. You also get a bunch of archival audio content of like various things we've been doing over the past few years. You get commentary tracks, and you get the opportunity to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on another podcast we do called the Lasercomb Podcast. So if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. Follow me on Twitter. I am at Lasercomb, spelled the same way. You can follow the show at Too Much Energon, or you can follow Cal at
NeoCal, NEO_KAL on Twitter and the TikToks.
We'll be back next week, where we're going to be talking about issue 13 of the 2021 IDW Beast Wars comic book. And this is the end of the recycled recording. So next week, we're actually going to be in the present talking about this comic book. So this is going to be the first time in a year, I guarantee, either one of us has even given this comic book a second thought.
So much so that I forgot if we were even done it or not. Which is funny because we've paid for all the issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like physical and digital versions.
Bought physical and digital versions of this like god awful comic book. But yeah, so we're actually gonna be reading this.
There's nowhere to go but
again.
up.
We're gonna be reading this bullshit again next week. And until then, I've been the Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm NeoCal.
Thanks for listening. We will when there's trouble you IDW next week.
When the comic ain't good and there's trouble, you're probably reading IDW.
Bye-bye.
Bye.